He was a district manager in 2012. And he's a lot of fun. I had a chance to spend some time with him. We were in California a week and a half ago. He was attending the Tony Robbins seminar, something I talked to him about for a long time, and just get a chance to just grow ourselves. And I was really excited to have him there. I'm excited about his thirst for growth. Like, he's just really excited about growing himself to be a phenomenal leader and just keep improving, keep growing. And that's something I'm real big on. And I know he's really excited about and really passionate about, and bringing that to the division. On a funny note, you guys know that like a lot of people like to tell Chuck Norris jokes, right? Well, Chuck Norris tells jokes about Isaac Garcia. So just so you guys know, but if we can bring him out, give him a round of applause. Mr. Isaac, right?
Thank you, guys.
Hey, what's up, the bald head? We should put like advertising up here, and that way I can get paid for that. I'm just saying, it's an idea. Adam, by the way, buddy, sweater, phenomenal. It looks good. By the way, we just built a connection there. I just built rapport with you. Going back to what Frank said earlier, it is amazing what you can do whenever you compliment somebody. All right, so just keep that in mind. But that is a sincere compliment. I really like that sweater. It's good. All right. So how you guys doing? My name's Isaac. As Kathy already said, I'm the events coordinator here for our division. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about phoning. This is something that I'm very passionate about, because phoning is the actual only real part of the business where we work. Okay. And so, because everything else is easy, you know, what do? We show up, we cut food, we eat, and we, you know, tell them to buy knives. It's really easy, and we have fun, you know. And so, but the phoning is the hardest part. Okay, without phoning, we're not going to get very far in business. Now, I want to ask you guys: have y'all ever like called to order pizza before? Some of you guys have, right? And how do you call when you like order it? Do you sound nervous? Do you ever say like, can I possibly get a pizza with pepperoni, maybe, please? I mean, if it's not too inconvenient for you to do that. Like, has anybody ever called Pizza Hut or Domino's and sounded like that? More likely not, right? You just call and you order the freaking pizza. Now, I'll be honest, a while back, I was the guy who was scared to order pizza. I kid you not, I was terrified. I'd be the guy that, like, literally, I'd want to eat pizza that night, and I would tell my sisters and my brother, I'd be like, hey, you guys want pizza? Yeah, all right, cool. Call and order it, because I'm not doing it. I am not going to call. Like, I was super terrified of making calls for some reason. I didn't feel comfortable talking to people on the phone. Okay, can anybody relate to this? Maybe. It's okay if you can't, because I was there, all right? I was deathly terrified. And I remember when I first started working with Vector, my goodness, they told me I had to make calls. I was terrified. I was just like, no, thanks. I'm good. I don't want to do that. You know, I just had all these weird fears in my head. You know, it was just like, you know, nobody's going to like me. Nobody's going to pick up. You know, people don't want to be bothered. I don't want to sound weird. You know, who's going to want to buy knives? Like, I had all these things going on in my head. Everyone's too busy. Anybody still with me? Yeah, we've definitely had these happen. These thoughts go through our head. It's happened to me a lot, all right? And, you know, I remember in the beginning, like, when I would first talk to people, like, if I talked to 10 people, I was lucky to book 2 or 3 appointments. Like, it was a really bad ratio. Like, it was bad. And, you know, that's just how I started off. Now, when I talk to people, if I talk to 10, you better believe I'm booking 9 to 10 people. Why? It's not because I learned like this secret approach that's always gonna work. You know, I didn't learn how to hypnotize people into saying yes. It's not that at all. It's actually I just learned how to make a case for phoning. Okay, learning how to make a case for phoning will make all the difference in the world for you. And so I want to teach you guys the same thing that I've learned over the years, so that it can help you guys as well when you start when you're phoning. So what I want everybody to do at the top of your notes, I want you to write CASE, C-A-S-E, at the top of your page. And we're going to start off with the letter C, and it stands for confidence. All right? How confident are you when you make calls? Like I said, in the beginning, I was terrified. All right? I had the no one will answer. No one wants to be bothered. I sound weird. These people don't know me. They're going to get mad. Everyone's too busy. Who's going to buy knives? Like, I was not confident at all. All right? And, but does anybody know the meaning of fear? Anybody? You can say it out loud if you know it.
False experiences appearing real.
False, what'd you say? Experiences or expectations? False expectations appearing real. Has anybody ever heard of that before? If you haven't, you should write that down. All right. False expectations appearing real is the definition of fear. And what's funny is that that's what everyone was telling me. Hey, Isaac, fear. False expectations appearing real. So obviously, your fear of making calls is not real. So get over it. Bull crap. I was still scared. All right. It was just like, no, these fears are pretty real for me right now. So it wasn't that I got over my fear. It was that I learned the word courage. All right. And courage, you know, for a long time, I thought courage was the absence of fear. When in fact, courage is having a fear, but realizing what you're doing is more important than the fear itself. Does that make sense? I know we're all amazed by Miss Taylor walking by here, so I'll wait. Thank you, Taylor. Everyone say hi, Taylor. Say hi. Like, oh, you distracted everybody. I saw all the eyes go. Like, literally. So, but again, I learned courage. And courage is not the absence of fear. It's that what you're doing is more important than the fear, that you have. Does that make sense? And so I had to learn my reason why. I had to dig down deep and really ask myself, you know, what's more important than this fear of making calls? Because can we all admit, or some of us admit, that we do have a fear of making calls sometimes, right? So we have to ask ourselves, what's more important than this fear? You know, for me, I remember my reason why was because I couldn't afford, I had to pay bills, I had to pay school. Like, my parents, like, we didn't grow up very fortunate or anything. I knew they wouldn't be able to afford school, and so I was the one having to pay for it as well. And so I had to support my family, and so I made the decision right there and then that, you know, my whys are much more important than the actual fear. Does that make sense, guys? All right. So you have to ask yourself, what's my reason why? Why are you working with Vector? Is it to pay off school? Is it to pay off debt? Are you tired of being in debt? Do you want to support your family? Or do you just want to have money for yourself? You know, like, do you want to be able to have that financial freedom that if your friends say, hey, let's go to a movie Saturday night, do you just want to be like, yeah, let's do it. I have the money to do so. I mean, I can imagine some of us might be tired of just, you know, your friends going out and you not having the money to do so, right? So you got to ask yourself, what's more important? The fear of not making calls, or missing out on life and missing out on what you have the ability to do? Okay, so you ask yourself, which one's more important? And you got to figure it out, and that will be your driving force. Whenever you're scared to make calls, remember why you're doing it. Whenever you're scared to make calls, remember why you're doing it. So I would highly encourage you guys, dig down deep. I had to get down to a personal level for myself. I personally believe in having personal conversations with yourself, and really figuring out, why are you working here? Why do you want to make money? And if you can figure that out, I can promise you the fear of making calls is not going to be that important. Okay? So just think about that. Let's go on to A. All right? What was C for again?
Confidence.
Confidence. Confidence / courage. How about that? Okay? A. A stands for approach. Are you following an approach word for word? I remember in the beginning, I would kind of not really follow the approach. Like I had it in front of me, but I didn't really follow it. Has anybody been guilty of this? Don't worry, yeah, a lot of hands went up for that. It's okay. It happens to the best of us. Sometimes I would even do phone time without an approach, which by the way is suicide. Don't do that, okay? And not having an approach in front of you and not following it word for word can really hurt you. And the reason is it's not because you lack the skill, but it's just because you lack the knowledge and why we say what we say in these approaches. You know, these approaches that we have for you, and y'all should be following the ones in your manuals. These are created by the best of the best in the division, or in the entire company, actually. Like the best minds got together and they said, what is going to be the best approach for our young up-and-comers to make sure we give them the best, give them the best opportunity to make sure they're successful, okay? And, you know, this isn't an approach that somebody just wrote up in like 5 minutes or anything. Again, this is from the best of the best. And so one of the things that I like to follow is that you find the leader, you find the person who's doing really well, and you follow their model. That's what we pretty much put for you in these manuals, okay? There's a lot of hidden psychology behind these approaches. Like, does anybody know why we ask for 2 times versus just asking for a day? You know, in the manual, we ask for 2 times, right? Does anybody know why we do that? Gives them more options, right? But if we break it down even more than that, think about it this way. If I ask Mrs. Jones, hey, Mrs. Jones, are you busy Saturday? Okay, well, first I just said, are you busy, insinuating that busy and Saturday and now in the same sentence. So now she's automatically going to say that she's busy, okay? But let's just say she has something going on from 4 to 6 p.m. Well, you just asked Saturday. So she's thinking as Saturday as a whole. So that means whenever she thinks about Saturday and she knows she has that one thing from 4 to 6, she's automatically going to say, oh, yeah, I'm busy Saturday. That's not going to be any good for me. But when you break it up and you say, hey, Mrs. Jones, are you going to be available Saturday at 11 or Saturday at 6? What does that force her to do?
Really think about what she has.
Exactly. Really think about what she has going on that day. It makes her think, okay, what am I doing the first half? What am I doing the second half? Second half, I'm busy. First half, I'm free. Okay? And so that subtle little thing right there is all the difference in you booking an appointment or not. Okay? And not only that, do you know why we say there's no pressure to buy? Because it makes it comfortable. People automatically assume that if you're going to try to come over there and show them something, that they're automatically assuming that you want to make a sale, and it's going to be very uncomfortable. Now, honestly, we do want to make a sale, but we don't want to put the pressure on them. So by telling them in our approach, it says, don't worry, you don't have to get anything. That takes so much pressure off, and whenever you go into the house, it's going to make it so much easier for you to be relaxed, so much easier to build rapport. And if you forget these small little things, because let's be honest, if we ever try to do an approach off the top of our head, we're going to forget one of these 2 things. We're going to forget to ask for 2 times. We're going to forget to say, oh, it's okay if you don't get anything. Or we might even, whenever we say in the beginning about our training appointments. I remember in the manual we talk about training appointments. Do you guys know why we ask that versus saying, hey, can I just come over and sell you stuff? It makes it feel more comfortable for them. Every single word in your approaches has been carefully thought out by the best of the best in the business. And if you are not following it word for word, I can promise you this, you're not going to be very successful. I don't want to sound rude, but the only reason I'm here, why I'm standing where I'm at today, is because I followed the approaches. And I knew that the people making it knew a hell of a lot more than I did. Okay, does that make sense, guys? All right, so making sure you're following an approach. So what does C stand for again? Confidence. What does A stand for? Approach. All right, so let's go on to S. S stands for sound. how do you sound on the phone? Are you overbearing? Hello, Mrs. Jones. My name's Isaac Garcia. Or do you sound, hello, my name's Isaac Garcia. Sound like that? Or, hey, I was kind of hoping, maybe if you can, like, how do you sound on the phone?
I like
right?
Cookie Monster voice.
Thank you. I really like the cookie. It works every time. And so,
It's like, why do I know that voice?
I'm glad somebody caught on to it. All right, I was thinking about cookies. Anyways, if you're ever in Chicago, you should get insomnia cookies. Best cookies in the world. You didn't have them when you were out there? Dude,
Gotta go back.
best cookies in the world. Hands down.
I'll do that shit.
If y'all want to talk about food, by the way, I just got back from a 2-week vacation. Had like so much good food out there. I love food. Anyways, we can talk more later. But you see, the way you sound on the phone is vital to booking your appointments. Okay. Another reason why they'll book with you based on how you sound is because, again, it's all about being comfortable. I don't know if you guys realize this, but I've said comfortable many, many times. And it's because it has so much to do with you doing well on the phone. All right. You know, you got to ask yourself, whenever you want to deal in their comfort zone, in the comfort zone of your customer. And so if somebody answers the phone and they sound very professional, like, hello, this is Stephanie Ogg. You know, are you going to want to go off into a side tangent and like just start talking about random things? Like, no, she's not going to give you the time of day because she has a professional mindset and that's her comfort zone. And if you start sounding timid, she's not going to want to help you. Does that make sense? You got to match their comfort level. There's 3 typical kinds of answers that you're going to get on the phone. First one's going to be the professional one. Hello, this is Carrie speaking. When you hear that, you know they're at a professional. You know that they have a professional setting, and so you want to make sure you sound strong and you want to make sure you sound confident on the phone because that's what they are projecting to you. Whatever they project to you, you project right back. They're automatically going to feel comfortable with you. Okay. Give me an energetic, like, hello, how are you?
Hello, how are you? Match them.
Hello. How are you? There's not a very good connection right there, right? Do me a favor, say hello, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. Do you feel that connection right there? How do you sound? You know, are you matching your customers on the phone? The next one is the hello. With the next kind of call, the first one's professional, so you want to match them. The next one is my favorite. It's the hello. It's a beautiful day today. How are you? Like, we don't get these all the time, but when we do, you just smile.
Yeah.
You know, like it feels really good to get these kind of answers. You know, like, oh my God, I wanted to just. Now, let me ask you this though: if she answers the phone saying, "Hello, it's a beautiful day. How are you?" and you just say, "Oh,
Hi,
hi, yeah." You're like, is she gonna want to really talk to you? Probably not, right? And so you want to match them. If you come at them with the same enthusiasm that they give you, oh, they're gonna love you because energy feeds off of energy. All right. If they're coming at you at this level and you're coming down at this level, I can guarantee you this: she is not gonna want to come down here. All right. You better get yourself up there, and it's gonna be so much easier for you guys. Okay. The last one is the most common one. All right. And that's the curious answer. The hello. Do y'all get that a lot?
Yeah.
Right? Hello? That's the most common one. Now, you got to keep in mind, when they're answering that way, they're going to be very quick to judge you. Okay? They're trying to figure out if you're a telemarketer or not. Now, if they say hello, and you go, hi, my name is Riddy, and I work with Vector, like, how does that sound? Like a telemarketer. Guess what they're going to do?
Yeah.
Click. All right. So how do you match them? Hello? Hello, Mrs. Jones? Yeah? Oh, hey, it's Isaac. Isaac who? Oh, Isaac, I'm friends with your, with Susie. Oh, Susie. Yeah, hey, how's it going? You see how we both started off small, and then I made the connection, and now we're going into a better energy environment. Does that make sense? Okay? So whenever they answer that curious way, talk to them like you're curious about them too. Like, Wait, what? All right, match them. When you match them, it makes life so much easier for you. Okay, and so making sure you're matching their tone is key, guys. If they sound professional right back to them. If they're enthused, be enthused right back to them. If they're curious, be curious with them. Why are you so curious? Because you're curious. All right. There it is.
Why did curiosity kill the cat? Satisfactory brought it back.
That's right. I never heard that.
What? I heard that a long time ago. Satisfactory brought him back? Yeah.
Oh, I don't understand it. It's not deep.
I'm
in a whole new world right now.
What that means, but it sounds good.
I love that. There's a thing. You can make any picture into like a deep picture if you just make it black and white and you just add words on it. Like somebody took a picture of a dirty room and they made it black and white and they just wrote on there simply, "Life's too short to clean." And all of a sudden it became deep. Right? Like, anyways, just talking about deep moments. We'll move on from there.
I am really great. I mean, is there like a meaning to that?
It's something that I was told when I was a kid.
So we're on the same page. They just kind of
They kind of resonate with it, right?
They just like stand back and look at me like I'm weird for a little bit, and then
It's funny because they don't get it.
like I was just like, ooh.
So the best way to communicate with somebody is to mirror them. What does S stand for?
Sound.
What does C stand for?
Confidence.
What does A stand for?
Approach.
Approach. The last one is probably the most important one. E stands for environment. Okay? What's your environment when you make calls? Does your environment set you up for success? I remember my district manager used to tell me all the time, Isaac, you want to make sure you do phone time at the office because the office is the best place to do it. Has anybody heard this before? Mm-hmm. Everybody's hand should go up. If not, let me know. I'll talk to your district manager. Okay. But coming to the office is the best place. And it's the truth. Let's be honest. When you're at your house trying to make calls, what do you always hear in the back? Who forgot to put the toilet paper in the new roll? Or what are we eating? Clean up your shit. Like, I can imagine, maybe this is just my house, but like that's how most houses sound. I can imagine, somewhat close, right? Like we always have that background noise. Everything. And let's be honest, like when you're at your house, God, that bed is really comfortable.
Too comfortable.
Too comfortable.
Especially during any.
Let's be honest. Last night was Monday Night Football.
True.
oh, I won.
I'm not doing phone time at my house during Monday Night Football. Now, if I'm at the office on a Monday night, I can't watch the game, so I can only do phone time, right? What's amazing about doing phone time at your office, by the way, is that it's in a positive environment. It's not too often that somebody's going to come up and say, "Oh, my life sucks. Phone time sucks." And everybody's just going to be like, "I know. It does suck." Like, that doesn't usually happen at an office. I don't think, right? Like, usually, if you come in, and let's be honest, because sometimes this happens, you'll come in and you're like, "Oh, man, like, phone time was hard." What's the first thing your manager's going to say? He's going to bring you up. It's very encouraging. You're in a positive work atmosphere. Whenever you're doing homework, guys, where's the best place to do homework? In the library or in the middle of your living room? Library. Why? No distractions. You have all the resources you need in the library. All the books are there, so you would think you would have everything, right? It's the same thing with the phoning at the office. You have all the resources you need at the office. If you don't have your numbers, take them with you. All right? They should be with you in a rec book anyways. All right? Not only that, let's just say, by the way, going back to approaches, there are a few other approaches out there other than what's inside your training manual. If you don't feel comfortable with the current one you have, talk to your district manager and ask them for other approaches, because there are many out there that are all just as good. It's about you finding the one that you're comfortable with. Does that make sense? All right. And again, this is a resource that you're going to have by doing phone time at your office versus doing it at home. Because when you're at home, if you run across one little small hiccup, you're going to make this huge of excuse of it. And you're going to tell myself, you know what, I'm just going to do phone time tomorrow. But when you're at the office, what do you have to do? You have to find solutions. You have people to help you. Do you guys see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Where's the best place to do phone time?
The office.
By the way, one of the best things you can do is set competitions with your manager. Hey, if I book, 10 appointments tonight, can you get me a veggie peeler? Which then you use that veggie peeler to get more recs. Because you say, hey, Mrs. Jones, if you give me 30 plus recommendations, I'll give you a free veggie peeler. And they're like, yes. Do you see how everything's kind of connected here? Right? So if you guys wanna conquer your fears and you want to be better at phoning, you just have to remember the simple phrase of making a case. Confidence, approach, sound, and environment. And you want to make sure that when you're in this environment, you are executing what you need to do. It is so easy for us to get distracted, but I can promise you this, the person who sits there and makes the calls and does everything they're supposed to, I guarantee you will always win. Because even though there might be people out there who probably have like better selling skills or they're better at making calls, but I promise you this, the winner is always going to be the person who works the hardest and they execute everything properly. They might be better than you, but they better not outwork you. And if you outwork them, you will always win. All right? So just keep that in mind, guys, whenever you're making calls next time. Remember, if you're ever scared of making calls, you have to ask yourself your why. Why are you making calls? Why is it more important than the fear? If you need help figuring out your reason why, I would highly recommend talking to your district manager. They are experts at helping you figure out your reason why. Whenever you need an approach, talk to your district manager. They can help you find a better approach if you don't feel comfortable with the current approach that you're using, which, by the way, in the manuals, honestly, I think are the best ones. But if you feel like you need another one, you can talk to them. I'd also recommend doing a sound exercise. Believe it or not, I do this where I'll partner up with somebody and we just match each other's tones. Actually, this is something I learned back in my theater days. I used to be in theater, and we used to try to match each other's tone, okay? It's really beneficial. I promise you it's going to help you 10 times out of 10 whenever you're making calls. And so maybe right before you start a phone jam, partner up with your coworkers and just say, hey, let's do a mirroring exercise real quick. Let's mirror each other's sounds. And make it fun, do the random Cookie Monster things to try to sound like the other Cookie Monster. Try to do the quiet one so that you can match the quiet one. Do a loud one, do a loud one, do a medium one, do a medium one. Match each other's tone. It's going to help you so much more whenever you're making calls. And then the last one, guys, environment. The best place, 10 times out of 10, is going to be inside the office. I will say this, however, whenever you're out on the field and you're doing demos, the second best place to make calls is inside your car. If you have the ability to have your notes in front of you or your recs in front of you and turning off that radio, I probably do just as good as a phone time as I do at the office. But sometimes I do it even a little bit better in my car because it's just me and I'm only executing. Does that make sense? So second to none, do it at the office. That's the best place. After that, doing it inside your car by yourself. And if you absolutely have to make calls at your house because your parents don't want you to leave, go outside, sit inside your car, sit inside mom and dad's car, and make calls in there because that's going to be also the best place. You just want to make sure your environment has no distractions and you are solely focused on making money because you guys have an opportunity to make as much money as you possibly want. I don't know if you guys fully understand that, but if you learn how to just conquer your fear of making calls and just doing it, you guys are going to be you're going to be in for a good surprise. So thank you guys so much. I'm going to let Frank say one thing real quick.
One thing to go off with. I don't know if you covered it before ever. Sometimes when you get here, you have all your stuff together, you still don't want to make calls. It sounds stupid. They probably already touched it. But you literally just stare at a wall or get a mirror and smile. like smile right now. Smile.
Everybody smile.
Smile. It sounds stupid, but when you start down and you're doing this, it just makes you laugh, man.